Kyle Elliott. Chris Say. Harrison Turner. Sharif Hassan. And Mikey Cohn.
You too. All right, let's see if we can arrange ourselves into a good photo here. So we're going to put the mayor in the middle with the coaches. Get over here, coaches here. We're going to need some of the kids now. Jeff, coach, come on up.
Yeah, Coach Jeff.
Great job, guys. Thank you, everyone. Congratulations, Jeff. Great job. Are you? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I put this out. It doesn't matter. No, I'm talking to myself. You know, we went through this. Mm-hmm. All right, we have one more presentation this evening that I'm pretty excited to do. All right. If I could please have Jim Sergeson come on up. Fantastic. I'm going to do a quick proclamation for you. So, in case you didn't know, March is National Nutrition Month. On March 22nd, 1972, President Richard Nixon signed into law a measure that amended the Older Americans Act of 1965 to include a national public-private nutrition program for individuals 60 years and older. For over 5 decades, this landmark law has supported our nation's seniors and helped to fund community-based organizations such as Meals on Wheels of Ocean County. And it is still the only federal program designed to meet the nutritional and social needs of older adults. Meals on Wheels of Ocean County provides nutritious meals to older residents both through home delivery and at community cafes throughout Ocean County that help maintain their health and independence. Meals on Wheels of Ocean County served nearly 260,000 meals last year to over 1,700 seniors, including over 33,000 delivered to Brick Township residents. The senior population is increasing substantially, and action is needed now to support local Meals on Wheels programs through federal, state, and local funding, volunteering, donations, and raising awareness to ensure that these vital services can continue to be delivered for years to come. Meals on Wheels programs from across the country are joining together for the End the Wait campaign this March to celebrate their collective success and to generate the support needed to ensure these critical programs can continue to address food insecurity and malnutrition, combat social isolation and loneliness, enable independence, and improve health outcomes. Therefore, I, Lisa Crate, Mayor of the Township of Brick in the County of Ocean in the state of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim March 2025 to be National Nutrition Month in Brick Township, and I call upon all residents to join me in extending our warmest thanks and most sincere appreciation to the staff and drivers of Meals on Wheels of Ocean County for their efforts to provide nutritious meals and essential services to Ocean County senior citizens and their heroic efforts to end the wait to combat senior hunger in America. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'll have you speak.
Well, I've been doing this for 25 years. I've been here many, many times, and it's always a privilege to come here and to thank the mayor and to thank the Township Council for their continued support and recognition of our program, which is very, very important. And for those residents of Brick Township, you may not know, but Brick Township actually is the second longest partner that we have in feeding the seniors of Ocean County, especially here in Bricktown. When I started 25 years ago, funding was already in place to help support this program because we had a waiting list. That waiting list was alleviated and totally satisfied by the funding that we received from Brick Township to hire a driver, purchase a vehicle, purchase additional food, and we've pretty much never looked back. In addition to the supports that Brick Township provides us, their senior outreach actually goes into the homes of the senior residents here in Brick and provides the in-home assessments for eligibility for our program. That's a service that would cost our program $60,000 or more a year to do if Brick Township did not do that service for us. So the commitment of Brick Township to support Meals on Wheels of Ocean County extends far beyond just simply proclamations and community development block grant funding. They make a wholehearted commitment through the entire staff of their senior services, through their mayor, through their township committee, and they've done that for us for decades, okay? So you should be very proud of them and you should thank them, especially now that you guys are celebrating what I understand to be your 175th birthday. Happy birthday, Bricktown. That's pretty old. So I'm 63. I kind of feel pretty old, but not as old as 175. However, if I looked as good as you do at 175, I think I'd be very, very happy. Meals on Wheels of Ocean County, we're celebrating our 50th year, okay, of providing senior nutrition services to the older adults of Ocean County. In 2024, we delivered 33,000 meals to over 200 food insecure, socially isolated adults who live in Bricktown. We served 260,000 meals to 1,700 seniors county-wide. But we're more than just meals. What we do every day is we save lives. We have a policy that you have to have eyes on or ears on every single client that you deliver to every single day. And I have 18 drivers who do 18 routes and cover all 500 plus square miles of Ocean County every day. That safety and assurance check saves lives. It's also something that is very comforting to the seniors and to their families who aren't able to be there to check in on them on a regular basis to make sure that their loved ones are not just fed, but they're actually safe. Since June of 2024, we have had to call the police or EMS 26 times because we found our clients in distress. 5 of those calls were for Brick residents, and 2 of those calls were made just within the last month. You did something really great today. You recognized not just some really great kids, but you recognized two young men who were joining a very important department in Bricktown, the police department. And you have an outstanding police department. You have an outstanding EMS department as well too. And take the time to thank them, because those officers and those EMS personnel, they're the ones that respond to the calls that we make when we find seniors in distress. We find people passed out on the floor. We find them passed out in their bathroom. We find them having strokes and heart attacks. Okay, and these are the people that we call who come and who help us rescue and save those people's lives. So I'd like to just extend my heartfelt gratitude to the police department and the EMS in Brick Township for the outstanding work that they do in help keeping your senior residents safe as well. Because without them, we wouldn't be able to do our job effectively. If we had no one to call who to show up to make sure that whatever life-saving measures need to be taken to get those people the help they need, it wouldn't work. So thank you, Brick Township Police, and to the EMS. Just, you know what, one thing I usually do when I come up here is I usually say, how long do I get to talk? I didn't today because I was just presuming on the generousness of the mayor and the town council, but I want to just give you a few other statistics, because we're a not-for-profit organization and we don't have a deep well of funding that we can just reach into whenever we see people with need. We rely on government funding. We rely on funding from the participants. We rely on municipal funding. We rely on the partnership that we have with the mayor and with this town council and that we've had for decades in order for us to be able to do our job as effectively as we do throughout Ocean County. I have 46 employees. Those people work every single day to make sure every single senior gets fed, to make sure that they're safe in their own homes. That's what our mission is. And we live that mission every single day. And we live it successfully in Brick because of the mayor, the town council, your police, your EMS, and because of our drivers. And you know, Vidal Sassoon had a wonderful saying, for those of you who have hair or may remember that long ago, if you don't look good, we don't look good. And those 46 people make me look really good. But they also make Ocean County look really good, because they're the ones that are on the front line of our program in those homes, checking up on those seniors to make sure that they are safe and that they are fed. We recently did a survey. 59% of the residents in Brick that we serve, 59% of those have been on our program for a year. 26% have been on our program for over 3 years. 68 of the participants lack companionship. They feel isolated because they're homebound. And that 2-minute contact with our driver makes a world of difference for those individuals. It provides social contact. It makes them feel like they're still part of this community because somebody is there looking in on them, caring about them, talking to them. 97% of our participants would not have a hot, fresh daily meal if we didn't deliver that meal every single day. 64% say that they have less doctor visits and hospitalizations because they receive the good nutrition that our meals provide and they're healthier. 100% of them say that they're eating a more nutritious and balanced diet because of the meals that we provide, and 100% feel more confident living independently because they receive our meals, because they know that somebody is going to be there every single day to check in on them, to make sure that they are safe and that they are well fed. And I would like to extend my gratitude once again to Mayor Crate and to the Township Committee and to the residents of Bricktown for electing and for supporting these people in the work that they do and will continue to do. And I would also like to say that I wish every municipality in Ocean County treated us as generously as Brick Township does. Because if everybody did, then you know what? We wouldn't have a waiting list. We have about 27 people right now that we can't put on the program. None of them live in Brick. That's a good thing. But you know what? We wouldn't, because if we got the recognition and support that we needed from every municipality, if every municipality followed the lead of this mayor and this town council and provided the recognition and the support that we need to do our jobs, there would be no waiting list in Ocean County for these seniors. So I would like to challenge the other municipalities and people who may be hopefully zooming in on this, that you know what? Now's the time. We do a really important job in Ocean County. Our funding is always at stake. We need other municipalities to step up like Brick to the plate and to recognize our program and to help us do our job so that we can feed the seniors in their municipalities as well too. So sorry if I took a little bit too long, but thank you very much for your attention and for listening, and hope you have a wonderful evening. And Mayor, thank you.
Okay, moving on with our agenda, there are a few budget presentations planned for today. First up is the Division of Inspections. We're going to hear from Mike Juzefek, our construction official. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mayor Crate, council members, and our business administrator. I'd like to introduce myself again. My name is Mike Joseph. I'm the new construction official hired after Dan Newman's retirement, and I'll be presenting the Division of Inspections budget fiscal year for 2025. The Division of Inspections is empowered to enforce the New Jersey Adopted Uniform Construction Code, which is NJAC 25, Chapter 23, subchapters 1 through 12. Budget number 195 is dedicated to the cost of administering the Uniform Construction Code. The purpose of the Uniform Construction Code is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the occupants of structures. Also, the code is designed to encourage innovation in construction, including the use of modern technical methods, and eliminate the obsolete construction regulations that increase the cost of construction. The number of permits issued in 2024 was 3,477, down only by 130 from 2023, with an additional 830 permit updates. This indicates that the township is relatively consistent in the number of permits issued year to year. The total number of permits issued fluctuates based on economics and other conditions outside of our control. The number of inspections performed in 2024 was 16,211 inspections. The number of inspections also can fluctuate based on the economic conditions. Revenue from permits is based on the value of construction of the projects. The value of construction for 2024 was $113,431,009. The added value of improvements made to real estate properties also affects the property taxes paid to the township. Our revenue generated by permit fees was $2,332,678. Additional revenues from items such as penalties, variation of applications, certificate fees, and ongoing inspections like annual pool inspections for public pools and testing of backflow preventers devices and annual inspections of elevator devices brought our grand total to a revenue of $2,399,345. Our staff consists of staff is made up of a construction official, subcode officials, inspectors, and our clerical support staff. Each local enforcement agency has a construction official. That individual is the chief administrator, responsible for administrating and enforcing the provisions of the New Jersey Uniform Construction Code. Each technical area of the subcode has one subcode official. The subcode official, under the direction of the construction official, has administrative responsibilities for enforcing of their specific jurisdictions. They interpret the requirements for their subcode, perform plan review prior to the permit being issued, and are the immediate supervisors of the inspectors within their subcode. The inspectors, under the direction of their subcode official and construction official, perform the inspections in the field. The staff dedicated to the building subcodes include a full-time building subcode official and 2 full-time building inspectors. The staff dedicated to the plumbing and mechanical subcode include 1 full-time subcode official and 1 full-time plumbing and mechanical inspector. Staff dedicated to the electrical subcode include a full-time electrical subcode official, 1 full-time electrical inspector, and in January 2024, we added a part-time inspector available on a per diem basis when needed. For fire subcode inspection services, we continue to utilize the services provided through the shared services agreement with the Bureau of Fire Safety. Now we have a part-time elevator subcode official, and we are exploring prospects of finding a part-time inspector as well to support him and or a third-party outside agency. Clerical staff. Clericals include permit application intake, data entry, inspection scheduling, moving the applications through the plan review process, processing any violation notices, and once approved by the subcode officials, issuing the permit. The clerical staff are the frontline staff that deals with the public and contractors daily, and we have a great dedicated crew. In addition to the reception desk, there are permanently 8 additional full-time clerical staff members. One clerk is the supervisor of the clerk staff. That staff member also processes applications, certificate of occupancies, responds and processes OPA requests, and adds all clerical staff members in their duties. The 8 other clerical staff have different tasks, including 3 permit intake clerks, staffs who are responsible for accepting residential permit applications, a permit intake clerk who specializes in commercial construction applications and manages ongoing inspections, and violation clerk responsible for processing, preparing notices of violation, and tracking the scheduling of appropriate inspections to investigate properties following complaints from residents. One clerk is responsible for scheduling construction inspections, and other clerks are our clerks are also trained, cross-trained, and but have primary responsibilities. The large drop in the operating budget request for the publishing line of line number 243. Every 3 years, the state adopts a new code edits. The next code change cycle will begin in 2025. This line item will need to reflect the need to purchase new code books in the 2026 budget year. I am looking to get a new code books entirely in digital copies that can be purchased at a one-time fee. All inspectors and clerks will have access to them. The state of New Jersey has also directed the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs to create regulations for the acceptance of electronic applications. Presently, applications must be submitted by the NJDCA standard forms with a wet ink signature. NJDCA has not implemented new regulations on the process and procedures necessary to allow electronic submittals, including electronic plans. It has been said that the delay has been caused by the need to adjust the licensing laws for regulating trades that presently require a raised seal on their documents and applications. Again, thank you for the opportunity to present our budget. The Division of Inspections looks forward to another year of supporting and assisting our residents.
Thank you, Mike. Open to council for any questions. I'm now going to open the floor to the public if there are any questions with regard to the presentation for the Division of Inspections. Seeing none, closing the floor. Thank you very much. We're going to move on to the next presentation from our Division of Engineering, given by our engineer, Elisa Cummins.
Thank you for your time this evening and allowing me to provide a brief introduction to the Division of Engineering and address the items requested in our 2025 budget. The primary functions of the Division of Engineering are to establish and maintain public infrastructure and assist with its integration into private property. We monitor the site construction and off-site improvements outside of the physical envelope of a building. Engineering currently employs 6 full-time employees, and our full-time staff includes 1 licensed professional engineer. We have 2 NICET certified inspectors, an engineering aid road inspector who recently became a New Jersey certified stormwater inspector, an engineering permit inspection clerk, and a secretary. As a group, we provide professional assistance to the township departments such as the Department of Public Works, in-house construction, traffic safety, and parks, as well as technical support for homeowners, business owners, realtors, and developers. We also serve as the contact for various divisions of the DEP, the DOT, and the Army Corps of Engineers. We have recently partnered with U.S. Fish and Wildlife to complete Phase 1 of a marsh restoration project and the Forsyth Wildlife Refuge, and we are dedicated to advancing this process to additional phases as it is a mutually beneficial program to reduce dredge disposal costs and restore the marsh for a better environment. Our office is also the designated floodplain administrator, responsible for compliance with the rules and requirements of the National Flood Insurance Program, a division of FEMA. Based on how well we comply with the National Flood Insurance Program regulations and guidelines, our citizens are provided a discount on their flood insurance premiums. Most of our day-to-day operation involves interaction with the public, including homeowners, business owners, contractors, and licensed professionals looking for guidance with their developments. Our goals for 2025 include expanding our GIS-based stormwater inspection system, maintaining our status in the community rating system, which is a part of the National Flood Insurance Program, clearing violations from the NFIP Flood Insurance Violations Tracker, assisting residents, realtors, and developers with private property development and anticipated changes with the upcoming revisions to the NJDEP regulations, coordinating with Public Works for repairs and improvements to our existing infrastructure, and maximizing the capital funds available to the greatest extent practical, developing a township-wide dredge material management and habitat restoration master plan, and educating the public on flood risk and preparedness. Our operations, we have spent a lot of thought and effort over the last few years developing procedures for better organization and standardization in the division. Our permit input is now processed by our clerk, decreasing our review time. Inspection reporting has been streamlined so that results are emailed to homeowners and contractors, saving us time as well as postage. Closed permits are routinely sent to archives to scan for easy retrieval from all departments. Coordination with zoning and code enforcement has been organized so that policies are standardized across the departments. Citizens get consistent information and engineering violations are enforced in a consistent manner. We are using our GIS-based app to complete stormwater inspections to reduce time and reduce waste associated with the paper forms. All of these things are very small, but when you combine them, they enable us to better assist people with their requirements, wants, and needs while saving time and saving money. Engineering salary and wage budget for 2025 is $200,000. While our salaries are fixed, the actual costs of the townships are estimated. The funds recouped in the budget from inspections, escrow accounts, and capital accounts will vary from year to year. Therefore, the actual staffing costs to the township fluctuate annually. We do strive to keep our costs as low as possible. Overtime is something that is very difficult to estimate, as the time required to complete is completely dependent on the volume of work running through the division, and this work is development driven. We provide inspections as requested by contractors or the administration outside of the normal operating hours of the township, provided the overtime hours worked can be charged to an escrow project that can be billed for the associated cost. Our overtime budget request for 2025 is $10,000, which is consistent with our request from last year and the actual cost over the last few years. Our operating budget request is $96,225. These funds are requested to pay for our general supplies, tools, and equipment that we need to do our jobs, such as pens, uniforms, paint, measuring tools, levels, etc. Renewal fees to pay for our professional licenses and certifications, as well as the courses that provide the continuing education credits we need to maintain them. Costs associated with annual permits, such as our DEP stormwater permitting for our annual municipal permit, our industrial permit for the marina, and our multitude of permits for public works facility and tidelands licenses for our waterfront parks and infrastructure. The professional services of engineers, surveyors, architects, and environmentalists that need to be contracted with to complete tasks beyond the resources of our in-house division of engineering. Our largest line item is for expert services. This is money that the division reserves to pay engineers, architects, or other professionals for services that cannot be capitalized, such as surveying, flood mapping appeals, ADA compliance consultation, master plan updates, sound studies, and general traffic consultations. If services are not required, these monies are not spent. This year's request represents an increase from last year, as we have been able to accomplish more internally, but we are cross-training and streamlining processes mentioned earlier. I thank the mayor and council and our business administrator and the citizens for their patience, support, and active participation in all of our projects and initiatives.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cummins. Floor is open to questions from the council. Seeing none, I'll open the floor to the public for any questions with regard to our presentation on Division of Engineering. Seeing none, I'll close the floor. Thank you very much. Last up this evening, we'll hear a presentation from the Division of Land Use. It's going to be given by Tara Paxton, our Township Planner, and Chris Romano, our Zoning Officer.
Thank you, Mayor Crate, Council President Ambrosino, and the entire governing body, as well as our Business Administrator, Joanne Bergen, for giving Zoning Officer Chris Romano and I this opportunity to present our budget for the Division of Land Use. On behalf of our employees, we thank you for the support and continued assistance that you give us throughout the year and every year. The Division of Land Use and Planning consists of the Zoning Office, the Planning Board, the Zoning Board, the GIS mapping, grant management, community development, and general land use and planning. We like to highlight our accomplishments from the previous year. Most notable accomplishments in 2024 included Green Acres Program grant approval for $1.4 million for the purchase of more open space properties as recommended by the Brick Open Space Savers Committee. Due diligence for 3 properties is currently underway. 4.22 acres known as the Osborne property off of Drum Point Road, 1.49 acres Westervelt property right next to it, which backs up, both of these back up to the Drum Point Sports Complex, Huber Avenue, and 5.38 acres we're working through right now that will add to the Sawmill Tract off of Summit Avenue. And there's a few more behind that the BOSS committee keeps me very busy. Master plan elements that we have adopted or are underway are the open space and recreation plan, which was the 10-year plan for the next 10 years of properties that we seek to purchase and programs and parks that we seek to improve. Community wildfire management plan, which we worked with the Bureau of Fire Safety and the Office of Emergency Management to accomplish. The community energy plan, which was done through a grant. And the economic development plan is underway, which is not costing the municipality any money because the local planning services at the Department of Community Affairs is doing the work for us as a memorandum of agreement, sort of as our consultant. The housing element and fair share plan, vacant land analysis, and realistic development potential report was submitted to the state just last month, and we're embarking upon the housing element fair share plan, which is due to be adopted in June. Ms. Cummins talked about our floodplain management program. We reviewed and submitted 98 elevation certificates to FEMA last year, and as a result of the diligent work by her staff and my staff, we received a 99% compliance, and this has maintained our 20% insurance premium discount for the residents. By way of staff, we have 7 full-time employees with 11 planning board members, 9 zoning board members. We serve as staff to the planning board, zoning board of adjustment, land use committee, master plan committee, environmental commission, architectural review committee, sustainable brick committee, green team, brick open space savers, floodplain management committee, serve as the ADA coordinator, and assist the Shade Tree Commission with their annual reporting. And one of our staff sits on the board of Homes Now, Inc., who administers our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, which we also oversee that consulting service to keep ourselves compliant with affordable housing program. In 2024, our division collected $667,328 in revenue. This was an increase of almost $200,000 from the 2023 year, which indicates that the township added a lot more taxable improvements than the year prior because affordable housing fees are paid when improvements are done or new buildings are constructed. We pass along 85% of these funds to Homes Now, Inc., who monitor a total of 880 units that are deed restricted for over 1,200 credits that we maintain for affordable housing program in the township. Additional revenue that we collected in the division, which has 5 main sources that help offset our costs to taxpayers for our operations. We collect permits and application fees, which include zoning permit fees, affordable housing fees, planning and zoning board application fees, and escrow fees. As I mentioned earlier, we collected $667,328 in affordable housing. Planning and zoning board escrow fees were around $273. Zoning permits were $99,000, and planning and zoning board rider accounts were $65,000. By way of expense for our salary and wages, the land use budget for salary and wages, which includes all the boards in addition to the affordable housing program, increased over last year's appropriation. The requested salary for 2025 for land use is $549,000, and the Board of Adjustment $87,000, and an overtime budget request of $5,000. Most overtime charges, if not all, are made to the rider accounts that we collect for the boards because they are related to the planning board and zoning board functions. So the taxpayers of the township are not charged when applicants require reviews. review of development applications usually help offset our net salary expense. So keeping that in mind, we administer chargebacks to our salaries from these funds. So we receive community development block grant funds, which we administer, and we can charge up to 20% of our allocation, and that was $54,200 from last year. The Affordable Housing Trust Fund, part of our salaries are charged $7,460. Planning Board and Zoning Board rider accounts charged $23,660, and the Planning Board and Zoning Board escrow accounts charged $24,705. These funds are not taxpayer funded, as I said, but grant funded and development fee funded, which resulted in a savings for the municipality of $109,525 for a net salary expense in 2024 of $464,000. Our operating budget proposed for 2025 decreased by $37,100 over last year as a result of Green Acres grant line item charges rather than land use budget for expert services for the work that we have to do for open space purchases, for appraisals, surveys, preliminary assessments, wetland delineations, and other studies that are required when we purchase land under the Green Acres funding umbrella. We also are utilizing the Affordable Housing Trust Fund for expert and legal services. Proposed for fiscal year 2025 is $109,250 for our operating budget, which is less than the prior request of $146,350 for 2024. And at this point, I'm going to hand over the operation and report of the zoning office to Chris Romano.
Thank you, Tara. And thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to speak tonight briefly. The zoning office is staffed by 2 employees, the zoning officer and a clerk. Zoning applications can range from a request to build a small shed to the development of a major shopping center. The zoning officer looks for consistency with board approvals and the zoning code. Just to give a few examples of the day-to-day reviews by the zoning office, you have your new single-family dwellings, additions to new single-family dwellings, in-ground pools, above-ground pools, spas, decks, sheds, fences, AC units, generators, finished basements, solar panels, commercial tenant fit-ups, and signs, just to name a few. Our office is involved with all development applications from the initial informal meeting requests with applicants through the permitting process. In 2024, we processed 1,705 permit applications and brought in, as Tara mentioned earlier, $99,190 in revenue from the issuance of permits. Both numbers slightly up from last year, 2023. And we have 2 boards that the township has, the zoning board and the planning board. I'm just going to speak briefly about the zoning board as far as numbers, which is the board that I attend. 79 cases, which is up from last year. There's a lot of cases, a lot of applications that came in this year that the board and the secretary had to deal with. 3 additional special hearings, a rider account that took in $36,575, along with an escrow account that took in $132,056. The next board is the planning board, which Tara will. You want me to do that? Okay. Planning board, 13 cases, which you can see does a lot less volume than the zoning board. Rider account took in $28,750, and the escrow account $141,850.12. Thank you very much. I appreciate all your time.
And then just to follow Christopher and round out, explanation of what we do and the value that the township gets for what we do in our department. We have the GIS mapping and document production that happens for all the master plans, grant applications. In our data specialists work closely with the Ocean County, the Brick Township Municipal Utilities Authority, the Township Consulting Surveyors to maintain the township's computer mapping and tax maps, and manages data to create, analyze, and convert and maintain terabytes of GIS data. He creates hundreds of maps detailing everything from conservation efforts to the snowplow routes. He also works with staff on data management, plan editing, and grant mapping. In 2024, our GIS analyst completed the open space and recreation plan, the community wildfire management plan, and completed mapping for all of our open space purchases and projects, and the Windward Beach Development and Park Rehabilitation Grant that we have applied for. The grant work that we do in our division also adds to the value. In 2024, the township received a grant award of $285,480 in our Community Development Block Grant Program, which is funded by the Housing and Urban Development Agency. We received $104,000 in grant requests from nonprofit agencies and public services in the township, and we awarded 13 of them to a total of $42,800. You heard from our Meals on Wheels grant recipient tonight about how wonderful the program is. We also do housing rehabilitation with that grant money. So we assist residents who are low and moderate income, usually seniors who qualify. We did 16 housing rehabilitation projects last year that we completed through administration of our office and through a contract with Northern Ocean County Habitat for Humanity, which has been a really wonderful partner. We are moving forward with a generator purchase and parking lot project for the senior services, for the senior center, using community development block grant funds. We'll be having a bid authorization soon for that project, working with Ms. Cummins. We're going to highlight that project under the CDBG arm because it's going to be a resiliency hub where, since it will have a generator, we'll be able to help folks who need help during power losses when we have storms. Other grants that offset capital costs by providing funding for acquisition, senior center renovations, vehicle purchases, fire grants. We were awarded a grant to do community wildfire management planning through controlled burns and purchase of equipment. And New Jersey Department of Transportation's Community Affairs Environmental Protection grants throughout the year. I mentioned the Green Acres $1.4 million grant and the Community Energy grant that we had for $10,000, which helped offset costs to pay for that grant plan completion. So the analysis of the 2024 land use and planning revenue and expenditures netted, we're in the black by what we bring in and what we put out by $2.3 million for the township. So this concludes our report, and I thank you for your continued support, and we look forward to working with you in the years to come.
Thank you very much, Ms. Paxton and Mr. Romano. I'll first open it up to the council for any questions. Are there any questions from the public with regard to the presentation from the Division of Land Use? Seeing none, close the floor. I'd like to take a moment to thank all four of our department heads for your presentations this evening. And most importantly, for your continued hard work and diligence in controlling costs here in town without sacrificing forward-looking and planning to ensure that our town is adequately prepared to address the challenges that come in the future. Thank you very much. We will now move on to the consent agenda portion of the meeting.
All matters listed under item consent agenda will be enacted by one motion in the form listed below. If discussion is desired on any item, this item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately.
Thank you. Item 6.1.
Recognize Patrolman Chris DeMarco, Officer of the Year Award recipient.
Council Vice President Menachino.
Thank you. This resolution recognizes Brick Township Police Officer Joseph McGrath as a recipient of this year's Chris DeMarco Officer of the Year Award. Officer McGrath possesses many of the same qualities and attributes as Patrolman Chris DeMarco, including professionalism, humility, integrity, selflessness, and kindness towards others. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.2.
Recognize Lieutenant Thomas McNellis, Award recipient.
Councilman Feynman.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution recognizes Detective Benny Alvarado as the recipient of this year's Lieutenant Thomas McNellis Award. Detective Alvarado is known by his colleagues as being very capable and knowledgeable police detective and is always working to share that knowledge and make every officer of the department better at what they do for our township. Detective Alvarado's finest work has been done with and on behalf of the young people in our community as a school resource officer, as well as the department's juvenile liaison officer. Thank you.
Item 4.3.
Authorize receipt of bids Brick Township Senior Center site improvements.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for parking lot improvements at the Brick Senior Center, and as we heard from Ms. Paxton just a few moments ago, this will be funded through the CDBG monies that we get through the township.
Thank you. Item 4.4. Excuse me, 6.4.
Authorize receipt of bids 2025 bulkhead replacement various locations.
Councilman Albanese.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the receipt of bids for bulkhead replacement at 2 locations on Cartagena Drive, Clubhouse Drive, and Schreiber Drive. This project generally consists of bulkhead replacement, including removal and disposal of existing bulkhead, securing corners, pipe penetrations, backfill, and restoration.
Item 6.5.
Authorize award of contract boat parts, supplies, and repairs for boats up to 30 feet.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for boat parts, supplies, and repairs for boats up to 30 feet to All Points Mobile Marine located in Point Pleasant Beach. This is a unit price bid not to exceed $75,000. Bid notices were provided to 6 prospective bidders from our bidders list, and 4 out of the 6 requested a bid package. We received 1 bid as a result. The contract allows the township to service the police department's marine unit fleet. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.6.
Authorize award of contract purchase and delivery of aggregates and asphalt.
Councilwoman Travers.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the award of contract for the purchase and delivery of aggregates and asphalt to the following vendors in accordance with the schedule of prices: Britton Industries of Lawrenceville, Greenway Industries of New Jersey, Farmingdale, Herman's Trucking, Wrightstown, RMV Land and Livestock South, Jackson, Stavola Construction Materials, Tinton Falls, the Walter R. Earl Corporation of Farmingdale, and Trap Rock Industries of Kingston. This is a 2-year contract. Bid notices were provided to 30 prospective bidders on our bidders list, and 15 picked up bid packages. 9 bids were received. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.7.
Authorize award of contract maintenance and support for New World Public Safety Software Suite.
Vice President Menachino.
Thank you. This resolution authorizes an award of contract in the amount of $245,591.37 with Tyler Technologies, Troy, Michigan, to provide maintenance and support service to the New World Public Safety Software Suite utilized by the Brick Township Police Department for dispatch operations. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.8.
Authorize award of contract Windward Beach Park Improvements Phase 1.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
This resolution authorizes the award of contract in the amount of $142,950 to Capella Construction of Medford Lakes for Windward Beach Park Improvements Phase 1 project, which includes the replacement of the fishing pier at the park. This project is being funded through the NJDEP Green Acres program and will upgrade the fishing pier to provide handicap accessibility. Bid notices were provided to 61 prospective bidders from our bidders list, and 10 picked up bid packages. 5 bids were received, with Capella Construction being the lowest responsible bidder.
Thank you. Item 6.9.
Authorize closeout change order number 1, 2023 road program Baywood West.
Councilman Feynman.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes a change order decrease in the amount of $110,443.68 in the contract with Earl Asphalt Company, Farmingdale, for the 2023 road program Baywood West project. The change order decrease is a result of as-built qualities. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.10.
Authorize agreement for Beach Rake Bel Air Beach Association.
Councilwoman Pontarero.
Thank you again, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the execution of the shared services agreement with the Bel Air Beach Association for beach sweeping maintenance for 2025 season. All costs for the manpower and equipment, including the diesel fuel for the beach rake, will be paid by the association. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6.11.
Authorize sale of a new plenary retail consumption license with theater exception.
Councilwoman Travers.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution authorizes the sale of a new plenary retained consumption license with theater exception. State statute now allows for what is called a plenary retail consumption license with a theater exception. Applicants who meet the criteria under the statute can apply for the council's consideration. Applicants must describe intended use, location, traffic impact, aesthetics, and parking availability. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item 612, Madam Clerk.
612A is an inspection fund release for Block 1170, Lot 1901, and B is a performance bond release for Block 1222, Lot 1.
Item 613.
13A are tax overpayments for the year 2024 of Block 380.05, Lot 16. 13B are tax overpayments for the year 2025 at Block 380.05, Lot 16, and Block 1210.03, Lot 90. And 13C is a township lien redemption at Block 808, Lot 1.
Thank you, Ms. Bergen. That ends our consent agenda for the evening. Is there a motion and second on the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Open to council for questions on the consent agenda. Seeing none, close council. Open to public for questions on these resolutions only. Mr. Bacon. How are you, Charlie?
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and Administrators. I have a couple of questions about Resolution 6.7 with the New World Public Safety Software. I heard it's used for our dispatch operations. Is this new software, or we've been using it for years?
This is not new
Years.
software.
It's not new? Okay. And the company Tyler, are they the parent company to that software?
Yes.
Got it. And I assume they've had the maintenance contract for several years now?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. The one thing I noticed in the resolution, it says the year commencing on March 1st. Would this normally have been in a February meeting? Because March 1st is 11 days ago. So we have a gap in the coverage of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure why it might have missed the agenda or if there was just
Okay.
paperwork back and forth, but that does happen sometimes.
Okay, thank you. I had a couple things. One back in April 2024, Tyler Technologies experienced a data breach involving unauthorized access to their cloud storage, which housed client data for the District of Columbia's Department of Insurance, Securities, and Banking. Also in 2024, in Bexar County in Texas, Tyler implemented Odyssey system to manage its criminal case records. The rollout encountered a series of problems leading to delays in case resolutions, et cetera. Similar issues have been reported in other jurisdictions, including North Carolina, where glitches in Tyler software led to inaccurate speeding tickets and wrongful arrest. Has the mayor and council been aware of any of those things that happened with Tyler Industries or not?
The police department hasn't talked to us about any issues with the software, and we have not had any breaches.
Okay. Thank you very much for answering the questions.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Any other questions from the public? Seeing none, close public. Let's move on to public comments.
I'm going to take them.
Oh, excuse me. Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pondereira.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Feynman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Menachino.
Yes.
President Ambrosino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 14, bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Computer bill resolution in the amount of $1,105,966.93.
Is there a motion and second on the computer bill resolution?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council. Seeing none, open to public for questions on the computer bill resolution. Seeing none, close public. Roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pondereira.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Feynman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Menachino.
Yes.
President Ambrosino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item 15, bill resolution.
Be it resolved by the Township Council of the Township of Brick that the following bills be paid and that the mayor and clerk be and are hereby authorized to draw orders on the treasurer for the amounts of the same. Manual bill resolution in the amount of $2,133,380.49.
Is there a motion and second on the manual bill resolution?
Motion.
Open to council for questions? Seeing none, open to public for questions on the manual bill resolution. Seeing none, close public, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Feynman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Menachino.
Yes.
President Ambrosino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to item 7, we're going to have an ordinance on first reading.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the sale of the township land known as Block 646.17, Lot 7, located at 658 Windsor Drive, and Block 511, Lot 1, located at 533 Central Avenue, and Block 382.04, Lot 9, located at 226 Hawaii Drive.
Thank you. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. The Township of Brick owns property at 658 Windsor Drive, 533 Central Avenue, and 226 Hawaii Drive. All parcels are vacant and buildable lots. Under this ordinance, the township will convey the properties to Northern Ocean Habitat for Humanity for the purpose of developing the property for affordable for sale housing for low or moderate income individuals. These parcels will remain as single-family affordable housing under a 30-year deed restriction. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Is there a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
Open to council for questions on this ordinance on first reading. Seeing none, roll call.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Abstain?
Councilman Feynman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Menachino.
Yes.
President Ambrosino.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
We now have an ordinance on second reading. There is public hearing on this second reading of an ordinance.
An ordinance of the Township of Brick, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, authorizing the acceptance of the donation of property known as Block 1225, lots 565, 567, 571, and 577, and Block 1386, Lot 1.
Thank you. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Sorry, I feel like I'm missing a sentence. Got it. This ordinance authorizes the acceptance of donated property at the corner of Herbertsville Road and Maple Avenue. This property has been identified by the Brick Open Space Savers Committee, or BOSS, as an appropriate addition to the township's recreation and open space inventory. It should be noted that the township is specifically not accepting the adjoining property owned by the same owner, as it has a single-family home on part of the lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion and a second?
Motion.
Open to council for questions? Seeing none, open to public for questions on this ordinance. Seeing none, close public. Roll call, please.
Councilman Albanese.
Yes.
Councilwoman Pontoriero.
Yes.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Yes.
Councilman Feynman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Travers.
Yes.
Vice President Menachino.
Yes.
President Ambrosino.
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to agenda item 9, public comments.
Please note that each person addressing the council during any section of the meeting during which public comment is permitted shall limit his or her remarks to 5 minutes pursuant to Brick Township Administrative Code, Section 2-33B.
Thank you. Any comments from the public? Mr. Finelli.
Yeah, I know you are. Vic Finelli. This is a time of the year I like to say thank you for some things, so I'll be very brief. You can spend more time saying thank you? Is that what you're laughing about? First of all, everybody that has anything to do with any of the departments that gave their presentation tonight, I know they bring revenue into the district. I know it all helps. And I haven't heard any complaints about getting permits and anything, but I'll be back later in the year after I get my bulkhead replaced to see how we did. But thank you for all those people that bring in revenue. Secondly, for all of the people that have anything to do with grants. I know a significant amount of money comes in and the grants all help reduce the bills, so thank you for that also. And the last but not least is the one that touches my heart, flood insurance.
You like that one.
When you do something right, you're going to hear about it too. And for the people that don't know, we get a flood insurance reduction because of what Brick is doing. Never mind that we might not get flooded, but I'm talking about the money. And if you look right on your bill, there's a line item right there that says how much you reduced in your flood insurance. So everybody can know that it's going to be different for everybody because of the cost of flooding. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was I long enough?
That was great. You'll make it out to us. Thank you.
Any other comments from the public? Mr. Bacon?
Good evening, Charlie Bacon, 366 Rancocas Drive. I'd like to talk about trailers again. That's a surprise. After talking to people that use trailers for their businesses and or recreational use, some excellent comments have been made at previous council meetings, and the following are my comments and recommendations. From what I can ascertain, the closed trailers issue started many months ago because a complaint was filed against a resident that used the trailer for motorcycles. This escalated into a legal issue between the town and the resident, and based on a December red line changes outlined in Ordinance 288, this individual was targeted. In December, after a poorly revised trailer ordinance was pulled from the December 10th agenda because of numerous complaints, business owners were now getting written up after conducting business in this town for many years, in some cases decades. Stated in a previous council meeting, the administration confirmed there's been an increase in code enforcement around trailers. Do we have a financial issue in town that requires the various departments to generate more revenue? I don't know. How are people that have valuable items that need to be stored in closed trailers because of the type of business or personal items, what do they do? How many violations were originated by code enforcement individuals driving around versus how many citizens called in? And I do respect have to remain anonymous on citizens calling in. How much money has the town spent on legal proceedings against the residents? Now, here's some of my recommendations I'd like to cite, please. All business owners and residents that have trailers on their property specifically cited regarding this trailer issue should have any proceedings suspended and or dropped. All legal proceedings by the township against any citizen should be dropped, and whatever court costs those individuals incurred should be reimbursed by the township. A special meeting of people should be conducted to determine how this issue can be resolved going forward with people that own trailers on their properties. A grandfather clause should be considered. So if we're going to make a change going forward, I think a grandfather issue is important because many people have had these trailers for a number of years. And finally, if changes are going to be revised. Okay, so that's kind of my recommendations on that. In closing, I feel kind of strongly about this issue. There are many things that need to be addressed in this town that are, I believe, a higher priority than a closed trailer on someone's property that's been there for years. Crime, cars stolen, houses broken into, gang members that live in this town, etc. These incidents of crime have occurred around my house and actually in my next door neighbors. Public safety on our roads, I've talked to this council and mayor in October about this with the issues around people going through red lights, aggressive driving and things like that. High priority taxes, I think, all impact everyone. Lack of funding that has been taken away by the state for our schools. Empty storefronts and gas stations that have been vacant for years. The sanctuary policies of our state and the strain that is placed educating hundreds of immigrants that do not speak English. And in closing, and if you want to keep code enforcement busy, there are plenty of eyesores in town that we can go after. The last thing I'd like to say, since I have a little more time, is I do appreciate the detail of the budget department heads coming up here and the things that they provide us. If it's possible, we have a lot of new screens in here. Could we put those, when they're doing those presentations, up on the screen so we can see it in the audience? that might be helpful if that's possible. Otherwise, thank you very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bacon. Thank you for your comments. I actually believe that Mayor Crate would like to comment on some of the issues that you've raised.
Yeah, so some of the suggestions that you just put out in your comments are things that we're already working on. So you mentioned, people who have been cited for trailers on their property. At this time, what we have done is we've put a moratorium on anyone who has a citation until our land use committee can meet and start to work out the details of how we can possibly amend that ordinance so that it would kind of rest easy for everyone involved. When I say everyone, I mean people who own trailers and people who do not own them and don't particularly care for them, right? So we have to find a middle ground there somehow. So if you've been cited, then that citation is just being held right now and there's not any formal action being taken. The second thing, I just want to note, you had mentioned revenue, this possibly being a revenue issue. This is not a revenue issue for the township. Without going into too much detail, unless you are going to court, no one has been fined that has received any of these citations, and nor will they be fined. And the only person who places fines on people who have these citations would be the judge. So the township is not getting a great deal of revenue from any of this, if any. It's just something we were following up on based off of complaints, as noted in previous meetings. So just to note, the Land Use Committee will be meeting. This is something that we're researching in depth. It's not something we're just going to switch rules around on. We want to see what other townships who are similar to Brick Township are doing and how we can see how that works in those towns, and then maybe look to see how we can make that work for Brick Township as well. So we are working on it. This is this is government in action. Okay, so we're an elected body, and when the citizens come out and make note of something that they feel that we're doing incorrectly, that's something that we take note of and we process, and then we work together to see if we can make it better for everyone. So just wanted to give you an update with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Any other comments from public? Yes, sir.
I didn't get addressed as Mr. Matliano.
Now it's Mariana.
Thank you. I just want to get back onto the trailer thing. I understand everything's on a hold. Another suggestion I had with the commercial properties, especially a lot of them use trailers for their business. Maybe there's a way that the residentials can store maybe an extra trailer or something on a commercial property that's large enough to handle, capacity of that. Another thing I wanted to talk about was Windward Beach. We're talking about doing the fishing pier over, making that nicer and stuff. I don't know if you can, but why don't we have badges for Windward Beach, the same as we do for the beach and the ocean? It'll be a revenue source where Brick residents can purchase a badge or a sticker for the car for parking. It'll help the town as far as that goes, and close it down at night, at a reasonable thing. Just a suggestion for that. I know everybody uses it, but for some reason it just seems a little smart having the Brick residents able to use it.
Anything else? Are you done?
That's
okay,
fine.
because I wanted to make sure you asked all your
That's
questions
okay.
first, if I may. For the first part of your question, so commercial trailers on commercial lots are a completely different animal than people who have trailers on their private property. And the commercial lots are ruled under New Jersey land use law, so they have different rules. And while we are holding off on those as well, it's because we want to work with those small businesses and businesses around town to make sure that they can get into compliance with what is supposed to be. Okay, so I suppose you could store a trailer, but that would require the business to put in a new site plan if they're going to add trailers to their lot, and I doubt that any business would really want to do that, but I'm just to share that with you. The second thing about Windward Beach is we did used to do badges at Windward Beach. We used to have a lifeguard at Windward Beach, and it was a very small revenue for us, but technically not, because if you got a beach badge that was a season badge, you could go to any beach anyway, and you'd still go to the other two beaches. But we don't have swimming at Windward. There's no swimming and there's no lifeguard at Windward, so we really can't have any type of badge for that, you know. And it's also Green Acres, so we couldn't charge people to just come to that park as well. We're not permitted to do that for specific to that park, or any of our parks really in town, right? Yeah. So, but there's good suggestions, good ideas though. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments from public? Seeing none, close public. Mrs. Bergen.
I have a quick couple things, thank you. So I wanted to welcome our 2 new police officers sworn in tonight, and I want to congratulate Benny and Joe on their awards coming up to PBA dinner on Friday. And it just so happens we have a former honoree, Officer Schindler, who is here taking care of us tonight for the Thomas McNellis Award. So it is quite an honor, and it's well deserved, and we thank you for your service to Brick Township. And I kind of regretted since the last meeting not bringing this up in my portion, but there was a comment made about the Ocean Star, and I just want to say I read it every week. I find it's very thorough and covers Brick Township in a way unlike any other print media, so I didn't think it was a very kind comment, but I did want you to know that your hard work is recognized and appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Mayor.
Thank you. I just have 2 things, aside from welcoming our new officers, and congratulations to all of our wrestlers that we got to honor tonight. 2 items that I want to bring up. The first is, as I noted earlier in the year, or I shouldn't say earlier in the year because I'm still a teacher, I think earlier in the year is September, sorry. As I mentioned last year, we have been working with the STEM students at Brick Township and Brick Memorial High School. We're very proud of the work that they are doing. And I had approached the STEM teacher before the school year started, and we wanted to coordinate with those STEM students to create a project that they could work on that could then be presented to the township at large. So it would be something that everyone in the township could use. So the problems that we've been having in the township with recycling fit perfectly with these STEM students and the projects that they do throughout the year. So I just wanted to announce that so far this year, we have taken trips and coordinated with them to go on trips to the Ocean County Recycling Center, which was a great trip. As I noted, we also went to the landfill, the Ocean County landfill, a great trip. The kids learned a lot. I learned a lot. I didn't know anything about the landfill, so it was really interesting. And now they've been working since September, and the head of DPW and myself will be going to Brick Township and Brick Memorial this week to visit with those STEM students to see the beginnings of their presentations and where they're going with that. And ultimately, the goal is to have them present here in Town Hall and to create a product that we can then present to the township via either commercials that we show, flyers that we hand out, stickers perhaps that we can have everyone put on the recycling cans to remind people of what items can be recycled, what can't be recycled, and also what contamination does to the recycling if you were to contaminate it. Because a lot of times people think they're doing a good thing and then something gets thrown into the recycling can that is not recyclable, and that whole can has to either not be picked up, or when we go to the recycling center, we have to take the whole truck back. So it's really about contamination. And then we're also going to hope that they touch on, and we're going to talk about this a little bit this week, is what is the dollar part of that? What does that cost taxpayers to not recycle? Because anything that's not recycled ends up in the garbage, and anything that ends up in the garbage adds to our tipping fees that we pay every year. And there's an imbalance now of the amount that we pay out to dump our garbage as opposed to the amount we receive from the recycling center from bringing our recycling. So it's going to be a great project. I'm excited to see where they're at with their presentations. It's been really fun working with the students and getting to know them this year, and it's just one more way that we as a township are cooperating with the school district to try to work together to make everything better for everyone in Brick Township. So kudos to them, and I can't wait to see what their presentations are. And then secondly, if you are looking for a way to get out and walk around nature and see some new trails here in Brick Township, our Pick Up Brick, the new schedule is out for the year. And we will have about 11 different events that you can attend. Our first one is Saturday, March 22nd. It's from 10 to 12. We will be meeting in the Midstream School parking lot, and we'll be walking the trails of Midstreams. There's a couple of miles of trails back there. We supply the buckets, we supply the grabbers, the gloves, and the bags, whatever you need to go out and help us clean up the trails in that area. It's a great trail system if you haven't explored it. I highly recommend coming out. It's just an hour or two. You get to meet a lot of new people, and it's a great way to get out in nature. And also, I know that there are a lot of kids who are under the age of 14 who are looking for community service hours, because we're getting to the point where people are going through their confirmation and they need those community service hours, or if they're in the Scouts. And so it's hard for them to go into, I know like kids like to do animal shelters and things like that, but you need to be 14. You get service hours for this, and it's fun, and you can hang out with your friends while you do it. So please reach out. We have flyers that we're trying to make available to the school. We have flyers here in Town Hall. We will also put this up on the website, and there's a handy dandy QR code if you want to register. It's not required that you register, but if you want to register, please do so, and then we can make sure we have enough items for everyone to go out and help us clean up the trails. So that's all I have for this evening. Thank you so much. And happy St. Patrick's Day.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. Starkey.
I'll just say happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. It's an honor to turn out. Make sure everybody can wear a holiday. Sometimes people buy things. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Nothing, thank you.
Madam Secretary. Councilman Albanese.
Just congratulate the officers that were sworn in, the wrestlers, Jim from Meals on Wheels, and everybody involved in the budget presentation.
Councilwoman Ponterero.
I also echo the words of Councilman Albanese in terms of congratulating our newest officers. I also wanted to thank the extra effort that was given by our department heads this evening, Mike, Tara, Chris, who am I missing? Alyssa, doing a great job putting everything into understandable English so that we all can understand exactly how the budgetary requirements of those departments work. And I appreciate that they take the time and effort so that we all can understand it. I also had recently a significant medical issue myself. I want to thank everyone who reached out for me to send their well wishes, and also thank my team of 5 doctors, Dr. Randazzo, Dr. Roman, Dr. Sheikh, Dr. Karma, Dr. Pharma, and Dr. Allen, as well as 21 nurses who have taken care of me and gone above and beyond to make sure that this disabled person is still able to serve our community and represent others in similar conditions. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
And happy St. Joseph's Day, which is right by St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Joseph's Day. Thank you.
Councilwoman DeYoung.
Very good. I just want to congratulate Benny and Joe. We'll see them Friday night. And thank Tara, Chris, Alyssa, and Mike for their budget presentations. And I just want to wish everybody a happy National Nutrition Month, as well as happy St. Patrick's Day. That's all I have. Thank you.
I heard you can live on Guinness, right? Yeah. Councilman Feynman.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. I just want to say, how awesome is Brick, right? Just in one night, we swore in 2 police officers, presented awards to the wrestling club. Meals on Wheels gave an awesome presentation. All of the department heads gave a phenomenal presentation. And it really is just awesome. I love it. I just want to share my sentiment. Hopefully you all feel the same. Stay safe and have fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Travers.
Basically everything that you just said. I just again wanted to congratulate the officers that were sworn in, the wrestling club for coming out, as well as Jim from to talk about National Nutrition Month and Meals on Wheels. And again, thank you to the department heads for discussing the budget and everything for us and making it very clear. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice President Minikino.
Thank you. I want to mirror all the sentiments, and next time I want to sit over there, so I'll go first.
We
But
will
yeah,
switch it
thank
up.
you, and have a good night, everybody.
Thank you. Obviously, a lot was said. I'd like to congratulate our officers, our newly inducted officers, the wrestling team, and I again thank the department heads for the hard work that they do. I guess that's at a happy St. Patrick's Day. I have a feeling the Italians outnumber the other nationalities here on this town council, but I will now ask for a motion to adjourn. All in favor? Meeting adjourned.
There are
next-
pickup, I'm sorry, there are pickup brick forms on the back